Many rank and file Republicans are starting to come out now to really hit the senators. It's time for you to do the right thing. It's a good thing, a bit late because many of these guys, in as much as they've seen the light now, they were complicit in creating what Donald Trump was, in actually allowing Donald Trump to do what he did, because the reality is Donald Trump is but a representation of much of what the Republican Party has become. Well, former Republican Defense Secretary William Cohen, he probably gives the best, I don't want to call it an attack, but the best admonition on the senators, the Republican senators who may want to decide to acquit Donald Trump. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Personal safety has entered their minds and maybe having an influence on how they're going to vote. You felt pressure like that. Talk about that political pressure.
There were threats made against me, my family. There were bomb threats. We had to evacuate the building that we were holding the hearing in. So the threats were there, and they continued even after that. But my wife and I were watching Saving Private Ryan the other night. We had seen it before, but we wanted to watch it again, to watch the men who stormed Omaha Beach, who climbed the hills with the Nazis firing down on them. These were men of the greatest generation. And I think about that because I have a friend who's 95 now who was part of the ones who landed. And all he could think about was defeating the Nazis and saving freedom. He fought again in Korea. And now when I hear that some members are afraid if they vote the truth, if they understand that this is what Donald Trump did, he attacked our democracy, and they're afraid, I want them to go back and think about the men and women after that who served us. I got a chance, both Janet and I got a chance to meet the Tuskegee Airmen, became friends with one in particular, Colonel Dryden. And he talked about how he had to fight against the Nazis during World War II and then come back and deal with the racism back here. These were men who had courage. And for members of Congress to say, gee, I'm not so sure, I know what the facts are. I know that Donald Trump was the fireman in chief. He's the chief marshal. Forget about all the arguments of whether he arranged it, whether he inspired them, when he watched. He was the fireman in chief, and he watched the fire burn. And while he sat back either eating chips or drinking some soft drink and took no action, that was an impeachable act, and any person in the Senate who doesn't recognize that as an impeachable act and votes not to convict, they don't deserve to have the word honorable next to their name. This is clearly a case where he violated his duty. He first tried to get the military to perhaps step in. He asked for President Putin to help him out. He asked for President Zelensky to help him out. He asked the Secretary of State of Georgia to help him out. Get me 11,780 votes. He asked the Vice President of the United States to help him out. And when they said no, he sends in his ragtag army as such, his Boogaloo boys, the Proud Boys. Who are the Proud Boys? Anything like the Doughboys of World War I? Anything like the Greatest Generation? No. So I think every member on the Hill knows what has happened, the failure of the president to take the action required to protect and defend members of Congress, his own vice president, Capitol Hill, the police. I didn't hear any of the Boogaloo boys or the Proud Boys say, Blue Lives Matter. Where were the Blue Lives Matter signs? They were attacking them. They killed one and caused the death of others. So for members of Congress to say, gee, I'm not so sure I'll get taken to task back home. I might even be attacked. I say that's the burden you have because the Constitution is worth defending, and every one of our predecessors was willing to climb those hills in Omaha and to hit the beaches while they were being attacked savagely. I think every Republican member looking at that evidence has really no alternative if they're going to abide by their conscience, the truth, which is laid out by Jamie Raskin brilliantly, powerfully, persuasively, patriotically. And they're going to say, well, the Constitution says, well, the scholars on the Constitution, the overwhelming majority say, no, you can and should do this. And so now they're going to hold up the Constitution as a fig leaf to hide their naked fear and cowardice and greed for the office. So they're either afraid or they're complicit. Either one, it marks them as being really ashamed, I think, to say that they're a member of the Senate and didn't vote to protect that document to which they swore allegiance to.
Donald Trump, we know, is a con man. But more importantly, what this insurrection also showed, this unpatriotic, seditious insurrection actually showed, is that he is also a mob boss. So when you have the Republican senators, any Republican senator who acquits Donald Trump, remember what he's doing. He's putting back out there on America the possibility of being led by a mob boss again. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.